All right, so for today's practice, if you are joining us on the recording, you will need a strap and a bolster. So we're going to get started here with a little seated pranayama, a little centering moment. So before we begin, just close your eyes, roll your shoulders up, back, down, and forward a few times. And let your shoulders just drop. Maybe even just release your hands down by your sides and shake your arms out a few times. And then sit your palms on your lap, palms facing up towards the ceiling. On your exhalation, feel a sense of presence. Physically feel your presence in the seat, on the floor, in the space. And then mentally allow your distractions to subside, that mental chatter, all the things you were doing or thinking about before class. Let's let those go. Know that the important stuff will be there later on when you're done with this practice. And take all of your attention to your breathing. Not changing it, but simply observing it. The depth, the length of your exhalation. Where your breathing is happening. Is it happening up in your chest? Do you feel it more in the front of your body, sides of your body, back of your body? What does your stomach do as you inhale and exhale? Snapping fire beside me, if you're wondering what that sound is. Now for the pranayamas. So we are going to consciously hold our inhalation. So next time you breathe in, I want you to hold it for a count of 4 to 5. So inhale and hold. Slowly exhale all your breath out. Do that again. At the top of your inhale, that's when you start counting. One more like that. Big breath in. Then hold for 4 or 5. Big exhale out. Return to your regular breath for a round or two. Now we'll take regular breaths in, and on our exhale, after we exhale all that breath out of our lungs, we're going to hold that exhale for a count of 4 to 5. So when you're ready, breathe in, breathe out completely, and then hold for 4 to 5 counts. Big breath in, big breath out, hold. Big breath in, out, hold. Return to your regular breathing pattern. Take a couple more breaths and I'll just explain. The next breathing pattern is just a combo of those two. So we'll take a big breath in on the inhale, hold it, 4 to 5, exhale completely, and then at the end of that exhale, hold, 4 to 5, big breath in, all the way in, hold, 4 to 5, exhale completely, hold 4 to 5. We'll do that 3 full rounds. So when you're ready, take a breath in, hold it, all the way out, exhale, hold it, big breath in, hold, breath out, hold, in, hold, out, hold, and then let your breath return to normal. Before we open our eyes, take this time to set an intention for your practice this morning. Maybe it's always the same intention every time you sit or stand on your mat. Maybe it's new every time. Just repeat that intention silently to yourself. I am, and then fill in the blank. And with that intention tucked away in your subconsciousness, in your heart, let's turn our palms down towards our thighs and slowly open our eyes. All right, inhale. Let's sweep your arms up over your head. Exhale, just bring them back down the way they came. But at the very bottom, you're gonna lean forward a little bit like you're in chair pose and reach your arms higher up behind you. Inhale, sit up tall again. Thumbs press back, rib cage stays gathered. And then tilt forward right at the hips. Reach your arms back and up. Let's do that a couple more times. Again. All right. Let's do a little funky move here. Step your legs wide. We're just going to kind of dance it out. Let your elbows be your guide. Hopefully everyone has been taking advantage of those recorded YouTube classes. There's about, I think at this point, I've got about 100 and, I don't know, somewhere around 120. There's a lot of them, but they are unlisted. So you do have to have the link for them. Okay, back to center. And now we're just gonna take our arms back, elbows bent. We're just gonna do some circles back. You're still twisting a little bit. You still got some action there in your thoracic spine. Good, let's go the other direction. All right, arms out, little scapular retraction. So again, rib cage stays gathered, meaning you aren't overarching, right? So you're just gonna pull your shoulder blades in towards your spine. Squeeze, doesn't look like much, right? Not a lot to look at here. It's engagement of your upper back muscles. So you're pulling in big postural muscles back there. Integral to posture, right? To maintaining a good, long, straight spine, not getting shorter as we age. If you've ever heard of someone say, oh, I just got shorter and shorter as I got older. They didn't get shorter. Their spine got more compact and their posture got worse, unfortunately. Okay, so our right arm is up. We've got our left hand wrapped around our right arm, not at the wrist, not at the joint, but a little further down onto the bone. Gather your ribs in again if they poked out on you. And we're going to take a lateral stretch to your left. So you're using your left arm, your left hand to just kind of guide yourself over. Both sits bones stay on your seat. You're not going to lift off of your left sits bone. Good, back to center. Let's switch arms. Root down through your sits bones, regather your rib cage, and then a little lateral flexion to your other side. Deep breaths. Good, back to center. Okay, take your arms out into our goalpost. And now we're gonna rotate down into scarecrow. So fingertips down and then up. Good. Really great for maintaining the mobility in your shoulders and in your thoracic spine. Good, a couple more. And this can be a strengthener too. If you were to do this for quite some time, I've actually been doing a lot of lifting here in my living room. And so my arms are very fatigued. So to me, this feels like a strength move. Your arms weigh stuff, right? So even if you don't have hand weights at home, you've got weights in terms of your limbs, okay? Reach down now by the sides. I'm gonna do a little lateral flexion again, this time getting our obliques more into the party. So let's reach our right hand fingertips down towards the ground. When you do that, your left hand is gonna reach up like you're gonna tickle your armpit. And then to center, switch over to your other side, really contracting your side waist, making your oblique muscles do some work. Squeeze, and then switch, squeeze, and switch. One more each direction. And if you haven't been doing yoga for a couple weeks, these may feel a little extra special today. Okay, seated cat and cow, taking our spine now into flexion and extension. If you've got a grumpy low back, and I'll just tell you guys, I do right now, you know, this new job of spending a lot of hours standing is making my lower back issues kind of resurface. So that and not enough yoga. I definitely have a sensitive lower back. So for me, when I come into that cow position where you are poking your rib cage out, I'm not going to go that extreme today because I don't want to crunch and irritate those lower vertebra, those lumbar vertebra that are already, you know, kind of getting a little too comfortable with each other. They're definitely in that compression state. So just know thyself and know what works for your back. For me, this is the best right here. Big cat position, gets those vertebrae to move away from each other a little bit. And then when I come into that cow, I'm working more on my chest and shoulders and my thoracic spine arching rather than my lumbar spine, right? So I'm trying to keep the lumbar somewhat neutral when I move into cow. Okay, let's make sure we really breathe here in accordance with the movement. So when your shoulders are back and your chest is lifted, that's a great time to inhale. And then as you contract, exhale your breath, squeeze your navel to your spine. Beautiful. One more time. And then back to center. So if you don't have an hour or you don't have the motivation to watch some of these replay videos, what we just did, which probably took us about like 8 or 9 minutes, that could be your yoga practice. Just know that just tuning in, pushing play 10 minutes a day is going to help. So whatever you've got, take it. Okay, let's stand up. And we are going to move into a little vinyasa this morning. Hopefully my chair won't become red hot because there is a fireplace directly to my left. That happened in one of the classes. It was literally hot to the touch. Okay, let's stand up tall. Feet a little wider than your hips so you have a nice wide stance, okay? Let's start again with our upper body. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And then on your exhale, let's drop your right arm down by your side and take that lateral stretch to your right. Let your right hand fingertips ease down the side of your leg, but not to the point where it causes pain in your lumbar spine. Inhale back to center. Exhale, drop your left arm. Again, left hand fingertips kind of sneak down your leg. Inhale to center. One more time, each direction. Okay, now we're going to take an open twist. So your hip bones, which are pretty much facing your chair, they're going to stay that way. And I want you to engage your legs as if you had a yoga block between your thighs. Do a little adduction. So even though your feet didn't move off of the mat, you now feel that pressure on the insides of your legs, your butt engaged too, your glutes. So we're going to keep that adduction in our lower body. Pull your abdominals in towards your spine. And on your exhale, let's do an open twist of our arms to the right. So your right arm is back, your left arm is forward, but you've really engaged and stabilized through your low body. Inhale back through center. And this will help protect, this move will help protect things like overarching or over twisting in your lumbar spine. And it will also help with things like sciatic pain. If you learn to really stay solid in your lower body and not twist in your lumbar. On your exhale, let's bring our hands right down through our heart. Soften your knees, one hand to each side of your chair. Let's go back to those cat-cows with really soft knees. So knees and elbows soft at the joints. And let's just move through some flexion of our spine and cat. And then extension of your spine and cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. 2 more. Last one. And then back to a neutral spine. Walk your feet in a little bit so your feet are more under your hips rather than wide. On your inhale, let's extend your right leg back. Right toes pointing towards the ground. You don't have to get your legs super high. Notice what happened in your back. If it feels like you're arching or you feel unstable there, then again, gather your rib cage up. Push down more into the chair so you feel stable in the center of your body. Now, if your hamstrings can allow it, you can bend your elbows just a little, feeling that stretch more so in your standing leg rather than anything. Good. Replace. Right foot down. Now left leg presses back. All 5 toes pushing down towards the ground. Now pull up through the core of your body. Gather your rib cage. And then if you need a little more sensation in the back of your standing leg, soften your elbows. And then come on back to center. Just pedal your feet out, bend one knee at a time. If your wrists are feeling that at all, you can come up onto your fingertips for this, just to give your wrist a little break. Okay, hands at the side of your chair again. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Exhale, step it under your chair and bring your left leg back. Whoops, that's a bolster. Don't step on a bolster. Okay, let's move through some pulsing lunges, okay? So you're gonna keep your right knee bent the whole time, but you're gonna come into that cat and then press into the cow. And when you do that, push your left heel back a lot. So you're also stretching out your calves. Round and lengthen. 2 more, round and lengthen. Last one, round and lengthen. Okay, stepping forward maybe a couple times. Get your feet back under your hips. Again, you can give your wrists a little break. Come onto your fingertips. Pedal your feet, shimmy your hips. And then we'll switch. Hands to the sides of your chair. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Right foot steps back. We're in our lunge position to begin. Keeping your left knee bent this time. Okay, let's move through those pulses. Cat pose. Look back at the toes of your right foot. Inhale, extend your body long. Couple more. I lied. Let's do one more. So we have a total of 4. That's what we did on the other side. Okay, bring your right foot up, left foot back. Come up onto your fingertips and pedal your feet. Okay, next series, we're going to do warrior 2 in our legs. So more of open hip position. Inhale, extend your right leg. Exhale, step it under. This time your left foot goes way back to the edge of your mat back there. Right hand is going to stay on your chair. Right knee is going to stay bent. Left hand to your hip. Let's rotate our chest open. So chest open, right knee bent. Inhale, extend your arm up by your ear and then reach forward and back. Inhale, up. Exhale, forward and back behind you. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. This time, straighten your right leg. Extend your left arm over your head. Now, we're going to do the same thing with our legs as I instructed before when we were twisting, standing. So your legs should now engage. Really squeeze your quads, squeeze your glutes. That's going to lock in your lower body so that as we twist and drop our arm under, we're twisting up top. We're twisting the upper portions of our spine. Inhale, reach up. Legs are strong. Everything is secure in the lower body. So if somebody were standing behind you for these, your butt would not be moving into them, okay? Because you've locked all of that in, and that is helping to protect lots of things, including your lower back, your SI joints, any grumpy sacrums. Last one, reach and up. Now we're going to come up to full warrior 2. Bend your right knee, lead with your left arm, and come up for warrior 2. Good. Now we're going to draw our hands towards the midline. And when you do that, almost like you're doing a sit-up, like squeeze your abdominals and your pectorals. You're squishing a ball in between your hands. Inhale, and then opposite. Reach as far away from your heart as you can. Squeeze. Inhale, extend. Squeeze. Inhale, extend. Last one. I know your legs may be talking to you. All right, from here, just turn, face your chair, and however you need to kind of walk yourself forward. Once you're there, come onto your fingertips. We'll pedal our feet. I'm going to turn my chair around. You don't have to. I'm just doing it so that I can maintain looking at you for better sound. Okay, now we're moving to our left side. Inhale, extend your left leg back. Exhale, step your left foot forward and your right foot back. Then press down into your right foot. Your left knee is going to stay bent. Left hand stays on the chair. We'll start with our right hand on our hip. Turn, face me or face your side, whatever way you're set up. And then inhale, bring your right arm up by your ear first. And then forward in front of you. And sweep it back as far as you can take your right hand pinky finger. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, forward and back. 2 more times. Again. Awesome. Let's straighten your left leg now. Okay. Feel cemented down from your hips all the way down. Legs are strong. Glutes are absolutely engaged. Extend your right arm up. And exhale. Thread your arm. Or if the threading makes you lose that engagement in the low body, don't go so far through, right? Inhale, reach your arm up. Nice and slow and controlled. I want to hear all that breath being pushed out of your lungs. And then when you come back up, fill your lungs up. Good, 2 more times. Excellent. All right, up to warrior 2. Here we go. Bend your left knee. Lead with your right arm this time. And come up for your big open hipped warrior 2 position. Nice. All right, now a little pranayama again here with some arm movement. So like I said, like you're doing a crunch, just sit up. Exhale, squeeze. Use your pectoral muscles of your chest, right? Engage them as if you are squishing something right here between your hands. Inhale, the opposite. Move in opposition of your heart. Exhale, squeeze, gather. Inhale, extend and open. I think we have 2 more. All right, let's make our way back towards our chair. Again, however it's safe to kind of get yourself back to the standing forward bend. Let's bring our fingertips onto the chair. Give your wrists a little break. Take deep breaths. All right, press into your feet. Bring your hands to your hip. Engage your abdominals, push into your heels, and let's come on up to standing. Okay, we're just gonna turn our chair around. So you may have to take yours to the other side of your mat. We're gonna work with our right leg first. So your right leg should be away from the chair. Your left leg will be your standing leg, left hand on your chair back. Good. Okay, soften your left knee a little. So you're softening your standing leg. We are going to keep our abdominals engaged here, okay? We're again working that posture. So just bring your right foot off of the ground and just start with circling your ankles a little. So one thing to keep in mind, lots of things to keep in mind during a balance, but one is your breathing. Make sure, even though your brain is working on overload, trying to keep yourself balanced, you want to keep breathing. Sometimes that gets like pushed to the wayside. We don't want that. You'll fall over, and then you'll yell at me, and that will be no fun. Okay, now into our hip joint. So you can take your right knee forward, up, back, and down. Your standing leg is still soft. Your abdominals are still turned on so that we're helping to protect our low back, and we're strengthening all of those postural muscles, not just in our back body, but also in our front body. Good, let's go the other way for a couple. And you know, how big or how fast these circles happen, doesn't matter, right? We all have different ball socket configurations there in our hip. Nice. Okay, just pedal your feet for a second. You may be feeling that in the arch of your standing leg. But we're gonna stay with our right leg being the working leg here. Well, that's not true. The standing leg is definitely doing some work too. The right leg is getting more of like the stretch and the movement. So let's go into a little standing figure 4. So soften your standing leg and make sure your butt pushes backward. So yes, your chest drops forward, but most importantly, your butt goes back. The weight goes into your standing heel. Good. Now we're going to go ahead and place our right ankle above our left knee. Yep. And I have my hand here, if that's fine with you. It just gives a little extra oomph. And I'm going to sit down even deeper into the left heel. Both sits bones sink down evenly towards the floor. You may feel this in your back. I do, because mine is, like I said, a little grumpy. Does not like concrete floors and standing for hours. I'm a yoga teacher after all. Like, the worst thing I think I could do for my body is like nothing, just standing. It hates it. Okay, be better off like, you know, going for a 30-mile mountain bike ride than I am standing on concrete floors. Okay, so let's go to our other side. Let's start with our left ankle now, getting some circles. Both directions. Okay, and then really soften your standing leg, your right leg. We'll bring our left knee up, back, down, and forward. Good, let's go the other direction now. Circling your knee forward. Deep breaths. Good, and then we'll place our knee, our ankle above our knee, sit back, bring your chest slightly forward. Ooh. And as a reminder, your hips play a big role in how your back feels. So again, I'll just keep talking about myself. Standing on concrete floors is hard on our hips, right? We don't have little shock absorbers built into our body. We're just, you know, and I'm going to keep using a mountain bike analogy. We don't have those. So what happens is our joints take the hit, right? And when you're standing or walking on hard surfaces like that with maybe not the best shoes, that's going to come right up into your hips, and in turn is going to feel like some pretty bad lower back pain too. Okay, slowly come on up. Whew, okay, now we're just going to face our chair and do some hip circles. Soften your knees, just roll around. And let's go the other way. So keeping our hips mobile, right, moving in all the different directions that they can go is essential. For most of us, we get stuck in a very linear, forward moving thing, right? Most of our sports and things like that are very, you know, we'll go back to mountain biking, right? That's very this. You're not getting a lot of hip opening, right? Running, same thing, hiking, walking, it's all very straightforward. So our hips are not being asked to do some of that extraordinary movement, which they are meant to do. So it kind of gets them locked in and stiff. So just make sure you're doing this kind of stuff. The hip circles. We'll stand now with our heels in and our toes out. We'll drop into Malasana. Right? Your hips are meant to do this. That's why, you know, same thing as our shoulders, right? It's the same kind of joint. It has many, many, many different ways it can move. And if you're only moving it in one way all the time, you're going to lose range of motion, mobility, you know, injury will start to happen because your joint is not moving in all its, you know, natural ways. Okay, so when you're in this one, guy, girl, doesn't matter, you're lifting up through your pelvic floor. So you're working on some of that kind of internal core, if you will. Deep breaths. Good, stand up. We're just gonna flip our chair around, but keep our feet wide. Do turn your toes in now and bring your hands down to your chair. We're gonna work the backs of the legs again. So we've done a little bit in our hamstrings, not a lot. So be conscious of them. Know when they've reached their limit. So you can bend your elbows out. You can maybe come down onto your elbows. And then engage your quadriceps. Pull your quadriceps up towards your hips. That sends a little message to the hamstrings and says, you know what, you can go a little further. I got this. I'm supporting you on the front. You can stretch a little bit more in the back. All right, let's walk up onto our hands and go into a twist. So you're going to keep your right hand down, bring your left hand to your hip. Draw your left shoulder blade in towards your spine. Nothing shifted in your pelvis, right? In fact, you've got your right thumb back there and you can feel, you can even push downward so that that right side of your pelvis doesn't try to open up, because when it does, that rotation will go right into the wrong part of your spine. We want it up high. We want our shoulders. We want our thoracic spine. If you're looking over your shoulder, you're getting a little cervical. Deep breaths. Note that you do not have to look over your shoulder. You may want to just look down for your neck if it's bothering you at all. Good. Bring your right hand down to the chair. Bring your left hand to your hip. And let's open up. Left shoulder, shoulder blade, pulling in towards your spine. Deep breaths. You're giving a little downward push with your left hand, left thumb. Good, slowly release. Let's revisit that hamstring stretch again. So engage your quads, come down, either just bending your elbows or come on down to your elbows. And let's let our head hang. Let's just let our head go straight down towards the chair. Good. Slowly walk back up onto your hands, toe heel, your feet in. Okay, we're gonna bring our right foot forward a little bit. It doesn't have to come all the way forward. And then your left foot back, and I want your feet to be almost lined up one in front of the other. So your inner thighs may or may not be touching, but probably. And if they're not, just imagine that you're trying to like squeeze a piece of paper there between your thighs. So you've got that adduction. Fire up the quadriceps of both legs. And then on your exhale, we're going to bend our elbows again. So this is a multitasker. Yes, it's hamstrings, but the further you get that back heel backward, the more it is also going into your soleus, into your different calf muscles. And again, you may be able to come further down, but that is not necessary. All right, from here, bend your right knee and drive your right knee towards your chair while simultaneously pushing back into your left heel. So your left heel is still pushing downward towards your mat. If it gets too intense, you may rock back and then rebend. But again, we're getting into the back side of your left leg, all the way from your Achilles up towards the back of your knee. And then we're gonna skip grabbing a bolster for this next one because we're not gonna be here that long. A lot of times we do this on a bolster, but hopefully your mat and whatever surface is beyond that gives you enough cushion. Come down onto your left knee, but I want you to scoot it back. So you're gonna scoot away from this chair a little bit. Then press the top of your left foot down onto the mat or ground and shift your pelvis now towards the chair legs. Hip flexors. So different part of the body. We haven't really done too much with these yet today. So hip flexors, top of your quadriceps, all get tight when we sit a lot. Or do things like mountain bike, that pulling up of your pedal, right, is a lot on your hip flexors. Backcountry skiing, the season I'm in, it's a lot on the hip flexors, skinning up a mountain. Cross country skiing, I did that last weekend, definitely felt it in my hip flexors. So this is a good one. Again, if it's too intense, started to get that way for me, I'm just gonna take a break and push my butt back and then kind of revisit the hip flexor stretch. Okay, said I wouldn't stay in it too long. So let's tuck our left toes under, pick up your left knee. So we're back in a lunge. You can be up high. I'm just hanging out down low for some reason today. And then step your left foot forward, maybe once, maybe a couple times. Let's come onto our fingertips again. Pedal your feet. And then we'll switch and do that whole series with our left leg forward. So left leg up. I had to think about that. My brain resisted for a minute. Bring your left foot forward, your right foot back, and you want your heels to make contact. So if they didn't, then you may have to bring your right foot up a little closer towards your left. Okay, both legs are straight. We're working many things, but mainly hamstrings in this and back of your right leg. So on your exhale, you can bend your elbows just to your point of resistance. Try to not round your back. As soon as you round like this, it is no longer a hamstring stretch, right? Because you've taken the origin of those muscles up by your sits bones, and then there where they connect, somewhere behind your knee, you've taken those 2 points and kind of brought them closer to each other, which means those muscles aren't stretching. So you got to keep that extended spine like you're doing cow pose. Again, high or low. And then our next step is to keep our right heel down, but slowly bend our left knee towards the chair. Ooh. One more full breath. And then we'll slowly drop down onto our right knee, but we're going to scoot it back. So we're starting to move away from the chair. Once you're about as far back as you can, then your right foot goes flat on the ground and you're going to push your pelvis forward and down towards the chair legs. You may back out a little bit, take a breather, and then move back in. All right. To come out, hands to your chair, pick up your right knee, do a couple little jogs forward, come onto our fingertips, pedal your feet. Okay, walk your feet under your hips, push into your heels, and let's slowly come on up. Okay, check the time. Oh, we're doing so good. Let's do a couple things seated on the chair. So grab your strap. So we did a lot just now in our lower body. We really kind of got all the spots, right? We got our hamstrings. We got that open hip position. We got our hip flexors, front of the hips. We did some strengthening. We did some stretching. So let's go now to some mobility in our upper back. And we've been doing that too. We've definitely got that too. Let's go a little deeper into shoulders. So let's bring our arms out. Your hands, my strap is ridiculously long, so I doubled it. And my hands are about as wide or a little bit wider than my shoulders. Okay, and then keep your arms straight, like a micro bend your elbows, but we're gonna roll them up, back, down, forward. Just keeping your hands in line with your shoulders. Good. Now bring your arms up overhead, draw your low ribs in. We're just going to let our right arm kind of pull that side of the strap down. So we bend our left elbow quite a bit. And we're using this bottom hand to just pull a little bit. Both sits bones, though, stay on your chair. Good. Back to center. Really reach your arms straight up. And then we'll switch. Let your left arm now kind of do the work. Flopping in front of me. Good. Back to center, both arms straight. And then let's slide our hands way far wide. So wide on your strap. Pull your low ribs in, gather them again. And let's bring our hands forward so our strap touches our thighs. Good. Now you know what's coming probably. Up and around, possibly all the way back behind you. Okay. So our goal is symmetry. That would be great, right? If one side was just as happy and flexible as the other, but that's not always the reality. We have injuries, we've had surgeries, you know, all the good things. So you may have one shoulder that just doesn't cooperate, right? It wants to kind of do this like funky hitch thing. That's all right. If you can take your hands wider and soften your elbows a little bit, that will help. But I promise you, as long as there's not a sharp pain with this move, this is going to be good. And it's going to move you closer towards symmetrical movement in your shoulders. Good. Nice. Last one, up and over. And then back onto your lap. Okay, for this next one, you're going to grab a hold of wherever your buckle is, especially if it's metal and big like this one. You want to hold on to that so it doesn't slap you in the back of the head. So you're going to hold on to it with your right hand. We're going to bring our right arm up overhead. You're going to, like it's a long ponytail. You're going to take your strap onto your back. Okay. Bend your right elbow and let your right hand, right fist, end up somewhere around your neck or the base of your spine, back of your head. Good. And that may be a stretch. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of lifting. And so I actually already feel that. I'm going to add to it because I know it's a stretch. It's not a pain. It's just a stretch. Okay. So now my left hand has found the strap behind me. Both hands now are in fists around the strap. Now you should feel a sensation, not just in your top arm, but also in the front of your left shoulder. If it's too much, mine's feeling like it's right at the edge of being too much. So I'm just going to let my hand down like 1/4 of an inch back there. You can't see it, but I did. And then I don't get that kind of ice pick in a joint feeling. Good. If you're kind of pushing into your neck, let your head relax into your hand instead. Check out what your lower back is doing. It oftentimes will try to overcompensate for tight shoulders. So if your lower back is like uber arching, then pull your rib cage back in, engage your abdominals, and let this stretch be in your shoulders where it's supposed to be. Good. Slowly slide your hands down the strap, and then in between sides, we're going to bring our fingers to our shoulders and just shoulder roll back. Elbows making that big circular shape. I just realized when I checked the time that we started at 10, not 10:15. So I am going over. Sorry. I haven't seen you guys in a while. It's not my fault. Okay, let's get symmetrical. Let's do our other side. Left hand has your buckle. It's going to come up overhead. You swing your little ponytail behind you. Bend your left elbow. Oof, again, triceps. I've been working my triceps. I feel them already on that top arm, but I'm going to add my right hand back on the strap, working your hands a little closer to each other. Check your low back. Make sure you're not pressing into the back of your head. Deep breaths. Awesome. Let's slowly release. You can lay that strap again on your lap. And now we're going to grab our bolsters and move our chairs out of the way. We're going to come onto the ground for the remainder of our practice. You will not need your strap either. So all you need now is a couple blankets. If you get cold in Shavasana, grab socks or a sweater. And we're going to just do a couple little moves here with our bolster down, placed vertically on your mat. Rear end is off of your mat. Your bolster is helping with a little back bend, a little chest and shoulder opener here. I have my knees in a teepee because it feels best on my low back, but if you want to cross your legs or have them in Baddha Konasana, you could do that too. But like I said, we did quite a bit in our lower body, quite a bit in our upper body too. I'm just giving our shoulders and our chest a little added love here at the end. And then walk your feet more under your knees. You're going to extend your right leg up. And then depending on your flexibility, your left hand's either going to come across to the outside of your right leg, and you're going to lift your head and your shoulder off the ground. So this is a little twist here. Okay, so this would be the modification. If you need to like kind of hold your head, if you got any neck issues, you can just look like you're really awkwardly posing for a picture. Or if you've got the flexibility, you may even grab further down your leg, but regardless, you are twisting your thoracic spine. Again, you can support your head. Good, release your foot, release your head, your back, your shoulders, back to the bolster. You can pause here for a moment in between sides. And then we'll extend our left leg. Reach your right arm across. Pick up your right shoulder and your head, or start to work down towards your left foot. Deep breaths. All right, let's release it back down. Pause for a breath or two. Okay, chin towards your chest. Use your hands to lift yourself up. Let's go ahead and for Shavasana, have a bolster under your upper thighs, like above your knees rather, so that your back is completely happy in this position. I'm gonna sit just so I can talk you through a little guided Shavasana. So make any final adjustments. Again, blanket, actually it's a little cool in here. I did not tend to my fire correctly. So I am also gonna grab a little couch blanket here, just so I'm not thinking about being cold, because the worst thing in Shavasana is like thinking about something, right? So whether that is being uncomfortable in your back or your hips or temperature, we want to let that external sheath, our physical body, be as comfortable as possible. Because if it's talking to us, chances are we're not going to be able to let go of that mental chatter. We're not going to be able to be present, untethered to the noise. So take a few breaths here. If they aren't already, let your eyes just kind of flutter, softly closed. Your mouth is closed, but the teeth inside your mouth, top and bottom jaw, are separated. So your jaw is not clenched, but instead relaxed. Just like we did at the beginning of our practice, how we set our intentions, let's go ahead and bring your mind back to that intention that you laid down. Even if you didn't think about it for an hour, it was there. Just repeat it a few times again, silently to yourself. Feel the weight of your body supported, resting on the ground. Take note of the points of contact from your body to the floor. And every exhale you take, feel that those points are sinking down, becoming a little more weighted. I always love to visualize the roots of a tree, rooting, driving downward, creating more stability, more strength. And from those roots, from that stability, Feel the parts of your body that are released, that have more space, more freedom. Perhaps your forehead, temples, jaw, throat, chest and heart, your rib cage, your stomach, your pelvis, the tops of your thighs, down your shins towards the tops of your feet, each toe still and relaxed. Allow your mind to be clear. If thoughts arise, simply acknowledge them. Don't get stuck in them. Let them slide on by. And then gently place a hand on your heart and the other hand near your stomach. Take a moment of gratitude for this breath, this heartbeat, this opportunity for another day to do good, to create, to love, to make an impact. And slowly relax your arms, roll over to your right side, and pause there. Use your hands to press up to a comfortable seated position, whether that is on the floor or on your bolster or on a chair. Let's gather our hands right at Anjali, the heart mudra. May this time on your mat today wiggle its way into the rest of your day. This sense of presence, this awareness of space, of your body, of your breath, perhaps a sense of calm and gratitude. Don't roll it up and store it away for the next class. Live it, speak it, walk it. Let your practice be integrated into your life. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.